This week, a report from Royal LePage and the Canadian Real Estate Association came out with their predictions for the Canadian real estate market. In this video, I'm going to break down those two reports and go over the 4 things that you need to know as a seller to attract a buyer in today's market. But before we get into that, I want to say that I appreciate you watching this video. If you learned something new today, all I ask that you hit the like and subscribe button down below. And if you're interested in booking a call with me, you can click the first link in the description. All right, let's hop into it. So to start, let's talk about those 2 reports. The Canadian Real Estate Association showed that sales activity across the country was up about 5% in September. They also said that the economic uncertainty that plagued us earlier in the year is now behind us, and that sales activity and potentially prices should increase over the next couple of months. Royal LePage, on the other hand, said that home prices will remain relatively the same as they were last year, with a potential increase of about 1% year over year. They also said that for the first time in a long time, buyers have negotiating power in a lot of properties to choose from. Now, obviously, markets vary regionally. In fact, I believe the Saskatchewan and Winnipeg markets right now are increasing in activity. But here locally in the Peterborough and the Kawartha Lakes, when I talk to buyers and sellers, the market is still pretty slow. Detached homes are continuing to sit on the market, and buyers are choosing to wait rather than purchase now because they believe prices will be lower in the next 4 to 6 months. This is something that I've been talking about for the last couple of videos. Locally in Peterborough County, we're seeing about 4 months of inventory. Now, this is consistent with the national average, and it's leaning towards a buyer's market. So the problem is there are too many active homes for sale and buyers are choosing to wait. But there are a select amount of buyers that are looking and purchasing properties right now. So with over 700 properties for sale in Peterborough County, how do you make your property a little bit different and attract a buyer and potentially an offer in today's market? Well, I believe it comes down to 4 things. Number 1 is the condition and presentation of your home. In this market, a buyer may be looking at 5 to 10 other properties when they're considering offering on yours. Your goal as a seller is to get your home in a state and a condition that is better than those 5 to 10 other properties so that the buyer will consider offering on your property rather than your neighbors. So how do you do this? Well, it starts with decluttering and depersonalizing and deep cleaning that property. You're going to want to perform minor repairs like painting or replacing baseboards. You may want to consider upgrading light fixtures so that your home is a little bit brighter than it currently is during the showing. You also might want to consider rearranging your furniture to attract a buyer. In this market, you have to sell the dream. So that is going to take a little bit of work up front to get your home in tip-top shape. Now, one of the services that I like to offer to help with this is advice from a professional interior designer before we list any property. What they're going to do is go through the property and give you professional advice on how they would set up the property and some things that you can focus on before photo day so that your property presents in the best light when it does hit the market. The second thing is the access to the home. Now, in my marketplace of Peterborough and the Kawartha Lakes, we use a showing system called Broker Bay. How it typically works is a buyer will reach out to their buyer's agent and say, hey, I want to look at your property, 123 Main Street. The buyer's agent will then log into Broker Bay and select the time and date that their buyer would like to look at the property. The seller of 123 Main Street will then get a notification on their phone or through email saying that a buyer would like to look at the property at a certain time on a certain day. The seller will then either accept, reject, or they can send a suggested time that would work better. Now, in today's market, like I mentioned, a buyer is probably going out and looking at 3 to 5 different properties on the same day. So it's important to make sure that your home is always ready for a showing. This involves making sure the home is always clean and that it presents in its best light, because you never know when a buyer is going to ask for a showing, and that buyer could be the buyer that offers and purchases your home. The third thing to focus on is price. Now, price is the most important thing when it comes to a listing. Price can make up for poor condition, but both of them do go hand in hand if you do want to attract the right buyer. Now, it's important to price the property either at the same or lower than comparable properties that are listed for sale or have sold in your area. This is because buyers are in tune with the market these days. They know what every property sold for in that subdivision, or they can look it up with the click of a button. So it's important to price your property competitively so that a buyer will see it and ask their agent to go look at it. Because if that property is overpriced, they may not even ask their agent to go look at it because they're scared of offending you with a lowball offer. And the final thing you can control is the marketing for the property. You control this by selecting the right real estate agent. Now, a real estate agent has several roles throughout the transaction, but one of their jobs is to get your home in front of qualified buyers. This isn't a market like it was 3-4 years ago where you could just put a sign on the lawn on Tuesday, list it on MLS on Wednesday, and you have 8 offers on Thursday. This is a market that takes strategic planning and presentation and expert advice to get your home sold and get it in front of qualified buyers. Well, that's all for me. I hope you liked that video, and I hope you learned a little bit more about how to sell your home in today's market. And if you're thinking about selling your home in the next 6 to 12 months and you'd like personalized advice, I'd love to chat with you. You can click the first link in the description to do that. And if you like this video, you might like the video I made on the 3 things that you need to know to buy or sell in today's shifting market. Click here to check it out. Talk soon.